Okay, welcome. Today I thought I would do something slightly different, and rather than just doing a video about a specific subject, I'll just do a bit of a check-in with you. So over the past, year, I've been doing a podcast, and I've been reaching out to different people, and probably about half the people I kind of contact get back to me. One of the people I've reached out to in the last month or so is an author called this lady called Joy Schaverien, and she's written this amazing book called Boarding School Syndrome. And I first put a video up onto YouTube about 5 years ago it was called Boarding School Syndrome, and in it I reference a book which had just been published, and that was my first ever talk about boarding school, and it sat on my hard drive for probably 6 months until I had the courage to post it, because I'm like, people are going to crucify me if people from my school see it. But I did it, and that kind of was really snowballed something for me. One is that now that most of my work is with ex-boarders, certainly one-to-one, mainly men but some women, and then also I do a lot of men's circles, and third of them are boarding school as well. And so I feel very really excited to be speaking to her. So I'll be speaking to her next Thursday, and we'll talk for about an hour. You can, if you Google Boarding School Syndrome, there are other interviews. She's been on Channel 4 in the UK talking to Jon Snow about Boarding School Syndrome. So she's been a therapist, a Jungian analyst, for certainly dealing with boarding school for 30 years. And her work is essentially, in this book is a lot of case studies and just talking about some of these core kind of principles of boarding school. So one of them is this idea, say, as I've shared before, about this emotional shutting down. And she does these different case studies and then talks about different areas. So for example, broken attachment, the captive child, the return. And I like how she talks, say for example, about food, because I see that food on one level has been a struggle for me. Maybe it's not been an eating problem, but when I've eaten, I've sometimes had tummy problems. And this began when I was young, but I had it at boarding school as well, mainly because there was very little food sometimes. I used to get stomachache a lot. I'm waffling a bit, but I basically just wanted to say I'm excited to speak to Joy Schaverien, and I will put this live, the video, depends if I need to edit it, hopefully put it up next Friday, and then, so if I've kind of reached out to the boarding school community on Facebook, but also if you have questions, do you have questions for her about boarding school syndrome, then I'm happy to ask. I've kind of asked a lot of questions so far. I think I'm up to about 12, so I might not be able to ask all of them now, but if you have questions for her, and if you've not read her book and you've been to boarding school, then I really recommend. It's very powerful. It can be a bit triggering, may bring tears up, but I find myself those tears to be very healing. That's the update really, is that I will be interviewing her next week, and excited about that. So if you've got any questions for future videos, please do leave them below. And I'm really enjoying the spring weather here. Put manure in the garden up there, and so that is me. So any questions, please get in touch.